Why is someone else's right to a gun above my right to my life? A question I really should not be asking as a 15 turning 16-year-old. Then again, it's better to question these things and wonder if the system we are currently living in, is it really the most effective one? Like, can I really believe that the government, will protect me? That they will fight tooth and nail to protect the youth of America? That they will place laws and restrictions to protect Americans? Now, those questions can lead to many different topics that need addressing, but I want to talk about the safety of the school system, or the lack of safety in the school system. School, a building to teach the next generation of youth where we will one day grow up and do great things. We will grow up to be the next doctors, lawyers, leaders, artists, dancers, creators, and just the next set of people with their story of their own. But what will happen if our story ends there? In a building that's supposed to protect and nurture, in a building built for us to fail, grow, and repeat, to a gun, to someone who needed help. We need better gun control, and I'm confident to say that the 349,000 students who have experienced gun violence will agree with me. The government doesn't reinforce better gun control, not because of the lack of materials or resources or whatever excuse they're using, it's just that they don't care enough. As of me writing this, Thursday, March 30th, 2023, there has been over 95 different school shootings, over 141 dead, 365 wounded, all in America, barely 4 months into 2023. Before the 9/11 attack, airport security was very lean and had let anyone come in the airport and pass through security to enter. Immediately after the incident, airports were closed down for investigation. Just over a week after the attack, legal acts were put in place to protect the airport and their security. The Aviation and Transportation Security Act was passed by the 107th Congress and signed into law by President George W. Bush. This act states that security is required to always check baggaging before boarding. There has been 377 school shootings since 1999. That's over 349,000 students who have experienced gun violence from then to now. And still, there are no acts that have been passed in these situations. Those statistics should be more than enough for there to be a stricter law on gun control. About a week after the 9/11 attack, acts and restrictions have been made and were pending. But thousands of kids and staff members have been hurt on educational property and no solutions have been in place. They clearly can do something about it, so why don't they? Trump. Recommending a school staff member to carry a firearm in case of emergency is just sad. The fact that students and teachers even have to worry about an armed shooter coming into their school and for them to prepare to fight for their life because lawmakers don't want to protect them is even more sad. Teaching of all jobs should be one of the last jobs where the workers should be actively carrying a firearm. That's the job of the police, not teachers. As a student, I can say it doesn't matter if my teacher was carrying a gun in school to protect me, I would not feel safe there. The shooter can still walk in. Why encourage violence with more violence when you can just stop the first set of violence beforehand? At the ripe age of 18, someone can walk into a gun store and purchase a rifle or shotgun without a license. At the ripe age of 18, that same person can walk into a school with that gun and that school name will suddenly be plastered all over different news articles. Then the incident will be forgotten, becoming another statistic, and then we repeat until we change something. The drills aren't even good. Hide in a corner, they will know. We'll be dead if they just knock down the door. Not to mention that about 50% of shooters were either a student or a former student. They will know about the drills. They won't just think everyone just disappear if we turn off the lights and lock the doors. When comparing America's school shooting statistic to anywhere else, we can see a big gap between the two. Let's compare America and Mexico's shooting statistics. From 2009 to 2018, America had a total of 288 separate school shootings. The second highest country is Mexico, with 8. Let's compare some laws they have. Mexico has only one place where you can legally get a gun, and it's in an anonymous building in an army base, staffed by soldiers. In America in 2020, there is 52,799 different gun shops across the U.S. In Mexico, you would need at least 6 different documents that were required to buy a gun. In the U.S., you would need to go through a background check. In the U.S., it would take about an hour to buy the gun. In Mexico, it would take more or less an hour to even get to the place to get the gun. The fact that Mexico is restricting and limiting ways to get a gun is already showing that it's working. The gap between the two is just proof enough. Making stricter gun laws isn't taking away a right, it's a privilege to have, and not everyone deserves that privilege.